Hello, everybody. Hope you are well. So it's
Hi.
3 p.m. in Malaysia. Thank you very much for tuning in into our DXX talks for today. My name is Waiki. Let me just briefly introduce myself. I'm the acting dean of Perdana University School of Data Sciences. So, on behalf of Perdana University, we would like to welcome all of you to this public talk. So, with here today, we have our speaker, Peter, that he's going to share with us on the talk. But before we have Peter to join us for this to start the talk with us, I'd like to just probably run a very short ice break with all of you, so that we get to know you even better. So now, if you're looking at your screen, so you should be seeing a poll. So it'd be nice that if you can help us to answer to this poll so that we can get to know you better, right? So please answer to the poll. Thank you. Yep. Just checking if everyone can see the poll.
Yes.
Thank you, Peter. So please answer to the poll. Thank you. We are starting to see people answering to the poll. Thank you so much. Right. Just for your information as well, this session is being recorded, and we will be running live on YouTube. In fact, it's already live on YouTube. So in case if any of your colleagues missed this talk, no worries. You can always go back to YouTube and then have a look at the video again. So yes, I'm still keep seeing posts coming in. Thank you very much. But I only have around 64% of you voted. So if you could, maybe you can continue to vote. And once we are done polling, I will just share the results with all of you. Okay. Thank you very much. So as part of the recording session, so if you do not want your face to be featured in this recording, you wouldn't have to turn on your video. Uh, let me also go through with you what we plan to do. Yeah. So now we have a poll running. Please answer to the poll. And then once we are done, I'm going to give an introduction about Peter. And then Peter will start his talk. And once Peter is done, then we will wrap up the session. And of course, that will be the best time for you. If you have any question for Peter, please do put everything in the chat. We have already enabled the chat. Yeah, look at the chat, and then I will moderate that session by asking the questions to Peter. And then at the same time, because it's also live at YouTube, so I will have my staff also monitoring at YouTube, and they will also are going to put up the question in the chat in case there's any question to Peter. All right, and then after that, we'll probably stay by again for a photo session. Then I will need everybody to turn on the video. That will be later on, but I'll make sure that I will stop the sharing first and also stop the streaming live at YouTube before we do that. All right, so again, thank you very much. I think, okay, the poll is closed. Let me share the result with all of you. Okay, so 80% of us are actually from Malaysia, but thank you. We also have participants from India and Indonesia. We have one that is not listed here. I'm so sorry. I do not know where you are from. If you could, maybe you can just post in the chat and let me know where you are from. And then mostly we have students, but it's interesting because we also have good combination of academic staff, scientific researcher, business owner, yeah, and also data professional, and that is very good. Yep. And then, wow, 80% of you are actually aware of your rights on data ethics or privacy. That actually helps Peter a lot when Peter explained. And yeah, majority of you are very concerned about ethical usage of data, which is good because I think this is also one of our topic discussion topic here. And some of you say that you're not sure how to do it. Hopefully Peter later on can actually share with us how can we do that. All right, so thank you very much for that. So with that, let me introduce Peter. Right, Peter Quar is currently the head of data science and also analytics at REF Media Group, formerly known as Media Prima Digital, one of the biggest media company in Malaysia. His responsibilities include finding ways how data can be used as competitive advantage, as well as identifying new business opportunities with data. He was also instrumental in driving the National Big Data Analytics Initiative under the Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation (MDEC) in the areas of thought leadership and also industry development. He played a key role in developing the first national BDA framework that delivered strategic recommendations and action plans to achieve the national BDA vision. Peter's core professional strengths include data science and whoops, sorry, and big data strategies, web development, and project management. His industry experience include in the media, internet, manufacturing, FMCG, e-learning, and also agriculture. So without further ado, please join me to welcome Peter to deliver his talk.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Hang on. Okay, let me just share my screen now. Okay, hang on.
Yeah, no problem. Take your time.
Yeah, somehow Zoom can't find the presentation. Just hang on a second.
No problem. Siaran tergendala a little bit, but no problem. Yep, just slowly take your time. So meanwhile, we have so many people waiting here. We have around 22 participants so far. Thank you very much for joining this. If you feel that this is beneficial for your colleagues or your friends, please send them the invites, or if not, you can ask them to join in our YouTube as well. So just probably let me share with you the YouTube link. Okay, so I am now putting it into the chat. So this is the YouTube link that we are currently having. So please share with your friends if you feel that it would be beneficial for them. Peter, are you okay? Do you need my help?
Wait. Let me. Yeah, just hang on.
Sure,
I'm
sure.
trying to
No
reload
problem.
the PowerPoint slide.
Sure, no problem.
Don't really know why.
Probably we can relaunch the PowerPoint.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yep.
No problem. We always have Siaran Tergendala.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Finally.
Great. Yes, we
Can
can
you
see
guys
that.
see the screen right now?
Can see it's starting.
Can you guys see the screen?
Oops. Hello. Hi. Can anyone see? Yes.
Yes, we can see
Yes.
your screens.
Yes, Peter.
You
We
can
can
see.
see your screen. Yep. Good.
Okay. Okay. Sorry about that.
Problem.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me here, Dr. Yam and Pradana University. So, my name is Peter Kwa, and I am the founder of Disruptive Tech Institute. It's an organization that seeks to find meaning in of being human in the age of disruptive technologies. And today's topic, right? AI is only as dangerous as its mastermind. The funny thing is, AI, right, has a way of mimicking or copying its creator. If the creator is unethical and lazy and doesn't care if the data fits the purpose or not, right, then the resulting machine will reflect the creator's personality, and this can become very problematic, especially if data scientists start to work on weapons, cars, and other technology that is going to shape people's quality of life. So in this presentation, I'm going to cover some interesting big data and AI ethical considerations. Things like job losses, you know, fairness, trust, transparency, equality, and of course, mass surveillance. And all these use cases are pretty much based on my discussions with friends and experts who who are also familiar with the topic of AI and the ethics. Okay, so a bit about me. I also head the data science and analytics team in Rev Media Group, formerly known as Media Prima Digital. We are the largest publisher in Malaysia. Before this, I was in MDEC, where we worked on strategies to build up a data-driven economy in Malaysia. And that was where I was part of the team developing the first national big data framework for Malaysia back in 2014. All right. Now, to kick off this presentation, I want to talk about the types of AI. So the AI that we have today, right at this moment, is what is known as the artificial narrow intelligence. And sometimes it is also referred to as a weak AI because it only specializes in one single area. And we see plenty of real world deployment of this kind of AI, in manufacturing, for example. This kind of weak AI is deployed in things like image recognition, predictive maintenance in e-commerce websites. Lazada, Shopee has it. Product recommendations, very, very common deployment of this kind of AI. Banking, credit scoring, and of course, in playing chess or even AlphaGo, as you have heard. Okay. Now, whereas, right, artificial general intelligence or human level AI is what a lot of researchers are working towards. It is AI that is going to be as smart as a human being, and it is a type of AI that will potentially replace, your doctors or lawyers or teachers or even your judges or CEOs. Okay, and the question on everyone's mind is, can AI ever achieve general intelligence? Since right since today, right, we don't really have full knowledge of our brains and how they even function, and it is very difficult to replicate them. But theoretically, researchers have actually made it possible to mimic our human brain through a set of algorithms. And the majority of AI experts seem to agree that we could potentially create artificial general intelligence by the year 2060. Okay, and as if artificial general intelligence, right, is not enough to scare us, we have also created the hypothetical artificial super intelligence. For those of you who have watched Terminator, think of it like as the Skynet, right? AI that is self-aware and that is smarter than the best human brains in every field, including creativity, wisdom, social skills. And many experts seem to agree that once we have created artificial general intelligence, it could be just another 30 to 40 years before we see the first artificial super intelligence. Okay, now let's kick off by talking about jobs. Okay, and we know that everyone is very concerned. We know that for now, narrow AI will likely automate a range of very routine jobs and roles, but it will be a lot more difficult. It will be a lot more difficult for machines to replace humans in less routine jobs that demand a wide range of skills and in an unpredictable circumstances. So, like for example, in healthcare, right? For example, many doctors or your GPs are performing routine work. You go to a doctor, you complain of a fever, they diagnose you, they look at your data, they analyze you, and they produce a set of diagnoses. Now, for example, okay, you are having a fever. Okay, let me just prescribe Panadol, or ibuprofen to you. Now, nurses, in contrast, require very good motor and emotional skills in order to give things like a painful injection, replace a bandage, or even to restrain a violent patient. And mind you, right, these are a wide range of skills that nurses need in a very unpredictable hospital environment. So it is very likely for your doctor, especially your GP, to be replaced by an AI family doctor sitting in a smartphone. Whereas it will be many years before we are able to build a reliable robot nurse. And I read an article by Kai-Fu Lee, right, who is an AI expert and the ex-president of Google China. And I'm just gonna quote him, right, where somebody actually created a robot to take care of the elderly people, and it's a wonderful robot. It did all kinds of things. It woke people up when they needed to, reminded them about medicine, and could even order food, call the doctor, and entertain them. But the inventor of this robot very soon, he noticed that the old folks, right, only use one function in a robot, which is customer service. Believe it or not, they will click on customer service, and a video of the customer service rep comes on, and the old person will say, "Hey, how come my daughter hasn't called today? Let me show you the photo of my granddaughter." So it shows that people do not really want robots to take care of them. And it is wonderful that AI is used to augment human capabilities. In fact,
Hi, Peter, are you still there? Peter, you're muted.
sorry, Miss Yam, since when was I muted?
Since China did, the Chinese didn't, Chinese old folks didn't want people to take care of them.
Okay, somebody muted me, I guess.
Whoops. No problem. If you
Okay,
could, even your screen is off, maybe you can reshare your screen.
okay, have you?
Just hang in there. Okay. I think it's starting to rain. Okay.
Okay, can you see the screen now?
It's coming up. Just wait 1 second. Yep, we can see now. Yeah, maybe you can full blow it.
Yeah. Is it better?
Yes, it's good. Thank you. You're
Okay,
better.
so I was saying, right, I read an article by Kai-Fu Lee, who is the expert and the ex-president of Google China, where somebody told him that they have created a robot to take care of the elderly, and it was a really wonderful robot. It did a lot of things, woke the people up when they needed to, reminded them about medicine, and could order food, call the doctor, and entertain the elderly. But the inventors soon noticed that the old folks only use one function in the robot, which is customer service. They would click on customer service and a video comes on and he or she says, to the customer rep, how come my daughter hasn't called today? Let me show you the photo of my granddaughter. So it goes on to show that people do not want robots to take care of them. Uh, and yes, it's wonderful that AI is used to augment human capabilities. In fact, one of the future jobs would be the AI assisted nurse. We can use AI to get them to do repetitive and dangerous jobs, but we will need to make sure that we upskill the people who have lost their jobs to AI lah. Now this slide, right, shows the future of employment done by McKinsey. And as you can see on the top right side, the more predictable and repetitive your job is, the more likely it's going to be automated. And we are talking about jobs like waiters, fast food cooks, production operators, farmers, and even sales and support people. And if you look at the bottom right, the jobs that are least likely to be automated are those that deal with people, education, management, and healthcare. Just ask anyone with kids, can a robot handle kids? Obviously not. And the thing to remember here is this: machines and AI are tactical in nature. You can't beat AI in chess nowadays, because they are able to process millions of potential moves per second, and they can even find new moves that a human player has never thought about. Even in war, right? Simulation of warfare, the military is using AI for simulation of various scenarios. So what does it leave us humans to do? Humans are supposed to be creative and strategic and emotional. We are not meant for boring, repetitive jobs. So leave these jobs to AI. We need to continuously upskill ourselves to stay ahead of AI. And I'll talk more about this later. Okay. Now, I want to touch on the role of the government in addressing the ethical usage of AI. All right. Today, Today, AI decides the social media posts that we see, the products that we should buy, whether a company hires or even fires you, and who goes to prison. And at some point, right, you will wonder whether AI is objective or not, or if the system has any form of biasness. And I think the government has a very important role in addressing data and the ethical usage of AI. I also think that the government should be placed at the center of this debate because it is supposed to guarantee the rights of the people. And it is no difference when it comes to people being controlled by algorithms. Now, but of course, there is a big but, right? Based on my conversations with people who work in AI and ethics, many governments, especially governments in Southeast Asia, they are actually quite lost when it comes to overseeing AI ethics. And this is exactly where most governments are at today. For example, in Malaysia, right, we are constantly driving and pushing for new technology R&D and applications, whether it's big data or IoT or 5G or AI or even AI, but very little is discussed in the area of ethics. And this is actually quite worrying. And we feel that the government needs to step up. Number one, in leading the conversation and getting people to talk about AI ethics. And number two, they need to start thinking about developing a national AI framework that consists of ethical data usage with the feedback from the government, industry, as well as civil society. Every country needs an AI ethics framework, that's for sure, that will provide guidance to the industry to deploy technologies like AI in a very ethical manner. And the framework's content for each country would be different. For example, Singapore, for example, right, is very focused on achieving a smart nation, whereas Japan is focused on Society 5.0, where they need to integrate technologies like AI to assist its aging population. As for Malaysia, our focus is probably to become a developed nation that would incorporate AI into multiple sectors, agriculture, manufacturing, for example, in a very ethical and sustainable way. Okay. Now, let's talk about AI and fairness, or AI and justice. You know, early this year, the Malaysian justice system, right, used AI in sentencing 2 drug cases. Of course, today AI is used to assist the judge in making a decision, right? But we cannot ignore the fact that AI may one day AI may one day be the judge itself. Now, we know that AI is not human in the real sense, and it consists of mathematical models. So the question is this: can you mathematically determine fairness? Can AI ever replace a judge? The the law and the justice ecosystem, they are very complicated, okay? And according to a lot of lawyers that I've spoken to, right, first of all, there are actually many types of judges. We have the civil judge, the criminal judge, juvenile judge, Sharia judge, and their role is to really collect evidence, assess them, make recommendations and judgment. Okay. Now, today AI can perform each one of these roles independently and with a very good degree of accuracy too. But combining them and passing a fair and holistic sentence requires the different skill sets. As you all know, right? Judges don't only look at the evidence; they would also look at the person, their background, and the environment that they were in when they committed the crime. When a woman stole something from the supermarket, for example, was she doing it out of necessity? Was she trying to feed her baby, for example? So, in passing a sentence that is fair, requires human intelligence that we cannot get from AI, at least for now. Sorry. All right. Now, let's talk about the AI and profitability. Okay. Now, because of the unregulated usage of AI, there has been a backlash from society. Even Google, right, who is one of the heaviest AI users and advocates, thinks that AI needs to be regulated. But you know what? It's like cigarette companies saying that we need to regulate tobacco. And the reason why many companies pay lip service to AI ethics is because it directly conflicts with how they profit from AI through the invasion of our privacy, taking jobs away, selling autonomous weapons. So the question in everyone's mind is, can organizations and corporates, right, ever balance the ethical usage of AI and the need for them to make money? Actually, in terms of privacy and AI regulations in companies, we are making progress due to the pressure from civil society itself. For example, a few months ago, we heard about IBM walking away from offering general purpose facial recognition software, meaning they will no longer develop or research the technology for mass surveillance, racial profiling, violations of human rights and freedoms. So again, the discussion of AI ethics has to start at the grassroots level, at the employer level, so that society can push for changes. In this case, the regulated usage of AI in companies. So in companies, right, if you do not comply, we don't give you the business. As simple as that. So one example is in Facebook and Google, we had employees walking out of the company when they did not agree with the ethics of the company. All right. And they had advertisers pulling out their ad budgets from Facebook because of misinformation and hate speech. And these companies had to rethink their ethics and how they deploy their AI software. Okay. Again, coming back to the previous slide, it is important for our government to take the lead and stimulate AI ethics conversation among its citizens so that they are empowered with the knowledge of their rights and so that they know that they can put the pressure where it needs to be put. Okay. something very interesting here. AI and surveillance, right? So there is this AI startup, I think in the US that scraped from social media about 3 billion faces, which is like 7 times more than what the FBI has. And the police have used it to solve criminal cases in, less than 20 minutes. But you see, if this system actually falls into the wrong hands, it could be exploited to stalk people that you're obsessed with. It could be exploited to blackmail people, and to also punish activists. And some people have come to the conclusion that because data constantly increases, right, there is never going to be privacy, and all of us are heading towards some kind of dystopian future. So all this becomes unethical when people feel that AI abuses them through biasness. For example, we see in the news AI sentencing more black people, AI not recognizing the faces of colored people, AI rejecting loan applications from women, or even AI victimizing them through manipulation, like what you have heard of. You probably heard of Cambridge Analytica. They actually harvested millions of Facebook profiles and influenced their voting choices, or Facebook using their algorithms to throttle the traffic to progressive media sites, and that is a very clear case of misinformation. But things like using AI for personalization and targeted advertisement is wonderful, because 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 you do not want spammy ads. So the thing is, you need to allow people to choose if they want AI to work on them or not. You need to empower people to make that decision for themselves, and not just shove it down their throat. If people do not want Facebook to personalize what they should read, they should have the power to turn AI off. Okay. Now here's a very interesting slide in terms of AI surveillance, and I feel that big data and AI have to be used to benefit and empower humanity, whether it's used for surveillance or other things. For example, right, in this slide you can see schools in China, they have installed CCTV to monitor their students, and AI is actually used to automatically detect if students are paying attention or sleeping, and the results are sent to the parents' phone every week. So it's a bit crazy, right? Now, the thing is this: if the insights are used to punish the students, then it's not empowering the students at all. But if the insights are used to understand the students' strength, weaknesses, their motivations, and their dreams, then that is the right usage of AI. Okay. Now, very interesting topic, AI and weaponization. Thanks to the possibility of using AI in weapons, suddenly we find that the future of humanity is very bleak. We can already develop drones that automatically find their targets and kill them. These killer robots, right, would potentially end humanity if we allow them to make decisions on who to kill without human accountability. And the question on everyone's mind right now is, just because we can use AI in weapons and warfare, right, does it mean we should? Now, personally, I have never liked the idea of exploiting technologies to make weapons when these technologies and budgets can be used for so many better things, like getting rid of world hunger. However, we can't stop it. Weapons have always exploited the progress in technology. And if you look at the bow and arrow, the bow and arrow is a technology, to guns and bombs and nuclear weapons, to biological and chemical weapons, right? So using AI in weapons is no exception. AI will be used in weapons, and we are already seeing its deployment in things like cyber warfare. Now, I'm going to quote my friend Damian here, who is the co-founder of the Data Ethics Society of Asia. If the world comes together and says that AI will be used only for altruistic purpose, only for good, then we can take it as a ground line and say that this is going to be it, and we're not going to use it for weapons. But if even one country says that we're going to use AI for weapons, right, we obviously have a problem. Everyone's going to catch up with this country, and we're going to have another arms race. Okay. Now, next slide. We all know that AI systems, right, they are subjected to biasness because of the very people training them are biased, whether intentionally or not. For example, we have seen many facial recognition systems failing to recognize people who are not white people or Caucasians. In fact, Google's photo categorization software labeled black people as gorillas back in 2015. Now, AI can definitely revolutionize the world, but it is also crucial to recognize its limitations. And I believe that the future use of truly important technologies like AI, right, must be ultimately decided by broader social debate, where most of the participants are not tech savvy. It should not just be decided by data scientists building mathematical models. Okay. All the mentioned fields of study, then only would we have artificial intelligence that is ethical and that would put people and the planet first. We would then have AI that is transparent, genderless, and unbiased. And this AI would empower as many people as possible. Let me give you an example. Um, Remember when Microsoft launched its chatbot and called it Microsoft K, right? It was actually a Twitter chatbot that Microsoft claims, right, would get smarter as more and more people engage with it. Well, the story is this: people started chatting with it on Twitter and started feeding it all kinds of racist remarks. And in less than 24 hours, 16 hours to be exact, the chatbot literally turned into a racist. A lot of this a lot of these problems could have been avoided if the engineers and data scientists in Microsoft had worked with people who specialize in human conversation, such as linguistic experts, copywriters, novelists, or even comedians. And these are the people who are not tech savvy. So if you want to build a chatbot that really, really works, right, you have to combine AI and linguistics. Okay. And my third point is this: AI ethics, right, is not only about how machines can provide better service to humanity. It is also about how humans can live in harmony with machines, especially at a time when the AI is taking jobs away from us. So this next slide is actually very important. If AI ethics is about humans living in harmony with machines, we need to prepare our future generations to work with machines. Again, I'm going to quote Li Kai-fu here. You know, he's one of the most prominent people in the Chinese internet industry, and he is also the author of the famous book AI Superpowers. Kai-fu actually described how China is rapidly moving towards becoming the global leader in AI and may actually surpass the United States because of China's demographics and its abilities to collect massive amounts of data. And interestingly enough, right, he is convinced that AI will never be capable of creativity and even empathy, which is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another human being. Okay, and here's a slide by McKinsey. If you look at the study by McKinsey, right, in the face of disruptive technologies like AI, there are certain skills that are important and growing. If you look at the top right corner, these are the skills that are important and growing. Things like basic digital skills, advanced IT, tech design, advanced data analytics, scientific research. And the second section, voila, they have actually included social and emotional skills. Wow, which is consistent with what Kai-Fu said from the last slide: leadership, communication, interpersonal and emotions, entrepreneurship, adaptability, teaching and training, and sorry, and we have higher cognitive skills like critical thinking, creativity, project management, advanced literacy, complex information processing. Okay. Now, if you look at this slide here, technical skills are just the tip of the iceberg and represents perhaps about 20% of the skills you should have when faced with disruptive technologies like AI, big data analytics, and even quantum computing. Okay, and as you probably know, right, these technology skills are based on STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Now, what is missing from STEM curriculum in many schools and universities are the other 80% of the iceberg, okay, that comprises of social and emotional skills and higher cognitive skills. What we need is really to add the A or arts component into the traditional STEM environment. We have to turn STEM into STEAM, okay? Now, if you look at this slide here, the thing is this: AI is getting more intelligent, and we all know it. And we as humans, right, we are responsible for developing morality and ethics into these machines. AI will also have a major impact on the world, but the ethical issues surrounding the integration of AI and society is very important for us to solve. And again, in order to solve these complex ethical issues, we require a variety of skills, not just STEM professionals, but skills from great minds in the arts that includes humanities, music, literature, philosophy, language, and creativity. Because AI is not just a technological advanced achievement, it is also a highly creative one. And this, my friends, is how we need to develop our future generation to live and coexist with AI and machines. So coming back to the topic, right? It is true that AI is only as dangerous as its masterminds. Okay. If the masterminds are not ethical at all, but if we develop our future generations based on what has been proposed in the last couple of slides, I believe AI can liberate and free us all. Okay. So with that, thank you so much for inviting me here and sharing whatever limited knowledge that I have about big data and AI strategy and ethics. This is my email address. Feel free to email me to Yamcha with me. And also, do also join the Big Data Malaysia Facebook group that I'm in charge of. Currently has over 8,000 members and is actually very active. So thank you very much. Back to you, Dr. Yam.
Thank you very much, Peter, for that insightful talk. I believe all the participants here definitely get a different perspective about talking about AI. So while we wait for people to post their questions on chats, and also another channel that we have is actually YouTube, quite active there as well. So
Okay.
I'll probably just kickstart by asking the first question. Now, just now during the beginning of the talk, you did mention about an example in China where the elderly people, you know, um,
Hmm.
even though there are robots to take care of them, but they still feel that, they can't have that, that kind of empathy. And this is something that is really restricted by AI. And obviously, we are speaking about robots. Robots have no feelings and nothing. But with the
Definitely.
current technology, and we are looking at more and more, especially in semantic analysis. So, in your opinion, do you think that development of AI in semantic analysis perspective would help from in that perspective?
Oh yeah, definitely. As you know, right, the natural language processing or semantic analytics, it is actually one of the most difficult to develop. So, like you rightly said, the robots that we have now, they are because they don't really understand. I mean, they don't really have full understanding of semantics. So it's very difficult for them to relate to another human being. But it's not just semantics, right? It is the emotions as well. They robots are void of any emotions simply because I think they don't have any consciousness at all. So even though they can understand semantics very well, just like a human being, there is always something missing. It's just like what we're doing right now, having a Zoom conference, compared to a face-to-face, it's never the same. It's never the same. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But we are seeing even semantic is getting more and more canggih, we use the word. Like even like in Malaysia, there are different dialects. So there are even different groups of speaking about different dialects and doing semantic analysis of different languages. And this definitely would help. So yeah, so I thank you for your opinion. So we have the first question from Prof. Manoj. Prof. Manoj is also from Perdana University. You say, thank you very much for a very informative talk. In your opinion, what is the biggest change that AI will bring about in Malaysia or ASEAN and the world in the next 10 years?
In the next 10 years, okay. Actually, this year alone, we did a survey on with 150 companies in Malaysia, and we just launched the 2020 AI blueprint. So in Malaysia, if you look at the AI maturity in most companies, we have actually classified them in as a level 2 out of 3 possible levels. So level 2 is a lot of companies are starting to look at machine learning in the sense of statistical learning. Okay, now I expect in the next 5 to 10 years, a lot more companies will be adopting deep learning. Artificial neural networks with at least 1 or 2 or 3 hidden layers. So they will be adopting a lot more deep learning to actually understand and solve a lot more complex problems that current that is currently being limited by a statistical learning. Yeah. And I also see that in the next 5 to 10 years, AI will also move from being centralized processing to edge computing. Yeah, so there'll be a lot more intelligence on IoT devices. Instead of currently, we have got dumb IoT devices sending data into the centralized cloud where you have the AI models processing it. Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting to know. And let's say if it's being centralized and we're actually expecting big data, and that's where the infrastructure comes in, the 5G comes in, and how to support them.
Exactly. So 5G is really important for edge computing. Like for example, if you look at driverless cars, right? It is a very typical example of edge computing. You have the car itself, which is the AI model, which processes all the information coming in from the radar systems, from the LiDAR unit, from all the sensors. Yeah, you can't have data shooting out to the cloud and coming back with decisions, because it'll be too late already. The car would have hit someone already. Yeah. So the car itself is actually an edge computer actually.
So it sounded like it's a hand in hand kind of like a collaboration. So in order to have AI to be implemented, the infrastructure has to be ready as well. And
Definitely.
yeah, so not just talking about Malaysia, even talking about various countries at ASEAN region, we're actually quite behind when it comes to infrastructure. So I think this also jives with the question with from Manoj that where do you see ourselves like in the next 10 years, because we are actually talking about infrastructure, and of course with the current COVID-19 situation, by right it should actually make things to be even faster. In fact, I remember during when COVID-19 happened, the project government's initiative to launch 5G somehow has been expedited. So do you think that we're going to like move faster rather than the original plan?
I I believe so because I had a very meaningful conversation with one of the CIOs of the telco companies. Right, that was like last 2 years ago. They are already planning to roll out 5G. So they were already in the planning stages they were already mapping out areas where they could actually install the 5G infra already. But so yes, I believe the 5G rollout is going to happen. It's going to happen fast as well. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So we have another question. Uh,
Sure.
it's also from Professor Manoj. He say, what is Malaysia doing or even planning to do or to make the public, especially the next generation, to be AI literate? So since you're also involved with the big BDA blueprint, maybe you can give us some snippets or share us some, a little bit about it.
Yeah, sure. In fact, later I'm going to share the download link to the blueprint. Yeah, I think Dr. Yam, you will also have the download link already, right? So what is Malaysia doing to make the public literate? I think the government, which is led by, I mean, the agency which is in charge of driving the digital economy in Malaysia, which is MDEC, as you know, right? They have been actually very active in promoting literacy and awareness in big data and AI. So I was actually working in MDEC about 6 years ago. So 5 years ago, 6 years ago, nobody actually knew what big data and even data science was. So we so we actually did a lot of awareness programs. We went around the country explaining what big data AI was, showcasing a lot of the use cases from around the region. So use cases is actually very, very important to make the Malaysian organizations know the value of big data, because it is through use cases, right, that Malaysian that the C levels would actually know the return on investment of a specific project. So we had to gather hundreds and hundreds of use cases from around the region, and even from the early adopters. And if you look at the blueprint that I will share with you guys later, the very mature industries currently in Malaysia when it comes to AI and big data adoption are the banks, telcos, aviation, as well as the media companies. Simply because if you look at these three industries, they were actually forced to adapt or die. If you look at media companies, they are being slaughtered left, right, center by Facebook and Google. If you look at telcos, they are competing like crazy among one another. And if you look at finance and banks, right, they are being threatened by fintech. So it's do or die for them. So they really had to adopt and adapt. But on the other extreme end, right, if you look at uh, the more laggards, like for example, I think one of the biggest laggards would be those diversified conglomerates, you know. Yeah. The retail industry, you have the traditional businesses, you have these businesses, the traditional cafes, the eateries, the Chinese businesses selling prayer items, your mamak shops, or even your roadside shops, selling fried bananas and all that. So those are the traditional businesses that are actually very, very lagging, and it takes something like MCO and COVID to actually shut them down very, very easily. So so 5 years ago, when so awareness is one thing, okay. Use cases is another thing. It's very, very important to understand the use cases. And number three is they need we they need a strategy on how to actually kickstart big data and data science projects. And one of my training programs actually teach organizations that.
Yep. Thank you for that. We actually have a question from YouTube.
Mhm.
Dr. Chan from also from Padana University.
Okay.
He like to ask, is there any how can we integrate arts, for example, literature, music, design in AI to produce an application? So just now you did mention the importance of in this AI development. So in your opinion, how do we like integrate them?
Yeah. So like one of the slides that I spoke about, the Microsoft chatbot, for example, Microsoft Tay, right? Um, the data scientists and engineers probably never consulted with any linguistic experts before they released it, and it was very easy for people to game the system. They just spoke to it, fed it with a lot of racist remarks, and the response would be racism. And they had to pull the chatbot from Twitter. So it is actually very important to actually have this kind of non-tech savvy people like the linguistic experts to actually work together with the data scientists, simply because data scientists, they know how to create a model, okay, but they probably do not have the subject matter expert. They do not have the subject matter expertise to create a chatbot that would really work in the real world environment. Okay, now another very good example is let's talk about driverless cars. Okay, now, and how it actually relates to sociology and philosophy. Okay, now let me ask you a question. If you're sitting in a driverless car, and in a very extreme scenario, right, the driverless car has to make a decision because a kid suddenly runs across the road, and there is no time for the driverless car to stop anymore. Who do you think the driverless car will kill? Will it just kill the child, or will it swerve, save the child, and kill the passenger? How do you think the engineers or data scientists would program the driverless car to make such a decision? Obviously, you can't have just your data scientists and engineers to make such a decision. You need a broader social debate with philosophers or even sociologists, okay, and to decide, like for example, let's say, for example, community A has this preference, okay, after after discussing among it, community B probably has a different preference. And this is actually a real study done by, I think, MIT. The study found that in this scenario, right, Western countries tend to be more altruistic. They would tend to save the pedestrian that is crossing the road and sacrifice their own lives if they were in the driverless car. Okay, whereas if you look at Southeast Asia or even China, right, they tend to want to save themselves. I'm serious. Yeah, I can actually show you the study. So there is no one answer that fits all. You need to have broader social debate, community discussion. Now, the other option is, before the driverless car actually makes a decision, the driverless car will compute the value of all the passenger involved. Yeah. So what if it's Bill Gates crossing the road? He will have a much higher value than you. So the driverless car would save Bill Gates, right? Now, one question that a participant had was, what if it's an old lady like Mother Teresa? What kind of value would she have? Or what if it's like a child that is crossing the road? How can you actually compute his future value? So it needs a lot of debate with a society, and this kind of answers can only be found when you actually talk with or debate with people who are well versed with this kind of societal issues, like philosophers, and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. You actually bring in the humanity
Yeah.
perspective that is really needed. So, in fact, that actually jives with the next question that talks about what are the skills that we actually need for the younger generation in order to work in this data science or even this AI industry. Frankly, myself, I come from an academic background. A lot of times I try to explain to a lot of people that data science or even AI is not just about having a degree in computer science. It's it's a interdisciplinary kind of thing. So, but maybe you can share with us, since you're in industrial for a while, maybe you can share with us, like, what are the skills that is actually needed.
Okay, now the thing is that if you are just looking at data science alone, data science, right, consists of several specialties. You have your data scientists who will be doing the modeling, but even before you can even do the modeling, right, you need clean data for your modeling, right? And this clean data will be generated by your data engineers. So you can become a data engineer who will be looking at designing data warehouses, designing data marts, cleaning the data, ingesting data from third-party sources and all that, cleaning the data and making sure that the data is clean for your data scientist. Or you can become a data scientist, you can model the data, you can visualize the data, you can tell stories with the data. So, but that's just the very, very technical aspects. And I believe you know the kind of specific skills you need. Like, for example, if you're a data engineer, you need to know programming language, like whether it's Python or Java. You need to know how to create APIs. You also need to know one or two of the cloud languages like AWS or even Google Cloud Platform and all that. Now, uh, uh, and of course, you need to know SQL, advanced SQL languages. Now, if you are a data scientist, obviously you need to know Python or even R, or even one of the drag and drop modeling tools like RapidMiner and all that. You need to also probably know how to do visualization. I probably need to know Power BI or even Tableau. And of course, you need to know your basic stats. You need to be able to know how to interpret the results churned out by your models. Now, so those are the tech skills, and I believe, right, in the next 10 to 15 years, right, the data engineering and data science jobs can be automated by AI, because it's already happening already. Even the data engineers and data scientists can't think that their jobs are going to be very secure. They need to step up in terms of understanding the business itself. Yeah. So let's say, for example, if you are in the healthcare industry, you better know the ins and out of say, for example, how gene sequencing is being done. How drug discovery is being done and all that. Yeah. And so you need to equip yourself in one of the skills that I spoke about, whether it's a humanistic skills in terms of creativity or design skills, or you really need to know the business very well. Or the other way would be you need to be able to manage people very well. Yeah, because these are some of the things that can't be automated by AI yet. Yeah.
Thank you for that really so much. We are on the dot 4 o'clock, so we have taken you a lot of your time. But I guess the discussion is equally good. Thank you very much, Peter, for that talk. Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
you're most welcome. And sorry for the connection problem just now.
no problem. It's infrastructure. We understand. Oh, we actually have one last question. Do you mind if you take just one last
Yeah,
question?
sure, no
Yeah,
problem.
sure. So we have a question from Dr. Lee. He says that if you talk about liberal arts, what do you think the degree courses that we are so lacking in Malaysia, and also a course that is marketable and also useful in the future as well in this local market? If you have any thoughts.
Yeah, so I think like what I mentioned about driverless cars and all that. I believe, um, I believe, right. Besides being an engineer or a data scientist, right, you need to be a generalist as well. You need to know how the world works, and like I said, just pick a liberal arts subjects that really interests you. Philosophy, sociology. Like, for example, for me, I like I enjoy creative writing very much. It will become very useful. Just think about this, okay? How did you know our computer fonts, right? They are so pretty. You have so many fonts right now, like the sensory, the Arial fonts, the Calibri font and all that, right? How do you think these fonts actually came about? If not for Steve Jobs dropping out of school and taking a calligraphy class. Okay, he took a calligraphy class, okay, in a community college in the US, and it actually inspired him on creating beautiful fonts for the Mac computer. Yeah. So whatever liberal arts subject you take, you need to know how to connect the dots back to technology.
Yeah, and that really reminds me of the days when I was doing science at school. We never understand what is the purpose of studying this and that, but maybe perhaps of age issue. By now, I will probably know how to connect the dots, and I finally know what is the reason we are doing this mathematics, what is the reason that we are studying that chemistry. So I guess it takes a while, yeah, for people to connect the dots.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, I mean, just one final example, right? All of us in high school learn about the the uh, linear uh, the linear thing like a
algebra.
yeah you okay, all of you actually know about y equals to mx plus c, right? Yeah, but how many of you actually know that it can be used to actually predict things? That's something that the teacher never teaches, you see. Yeah. So
Yeah, and that gives me a very great idea that probably before we can go to the young generation, we should go to the teachers first. We
true.
should educate the teachers first. Yeah, so they are the first group of people that we should be looking. So if we are moving towards this society, the first thing that we'll look at is the educator themselves. So yes, this is good. Well, we have one more question. Is that okay, Peter?
Sure, sure. No
All
problem.
right. So this question is from Chinglan. She said that you mentioned about how AI as an output of data scientists may be influenced by his or her own input or even perspective or even value. So how and to what extent, on the other hand, do you think our children's mind may be molded by AI in the future of education?
In the future of education,
Well, example, my children loves to watch YouTube videos, and we know YouTube's are probably half of it are governed by AI. And if let's say we do not pull them out from that, they are probably very driven by AI one day. So so maybe like, do you think our children's mind will be molded by AI?
oh, that's for sure. Okay, I get what you mean now. Oh yeah, for sure. Because even us, right? If you have a Facebook profile, do you think that the posts you see are not driven by AI? You know, it is actually driven by AI, and you have and there are actually a lot of your friends' posts that you don't see because you never like any of their posts. So it could be personalization is a really great thing, but sometimes it could be too much, whereby you tend to get a very narrow perspective, you know, because the AI actually thinks they know what you want. So it's the same in education, right? Uh, your your kids or even my daughter loves to watch YouTube, and YouTube's AI keeps on recommending, you know, things that they think that the daughter or the son actually likes to watch. But is good for personalization, but I think it will actually limit their perspective as well. Yeah. So
Yep.
parents have to be actually very careful there.
Yep.
Mm.
So I guess this is where the humanity values still has to be instilled. Technology is great to assist us in many perspectives to move the society to become
Yes.
modern, but we cannot we cannot take away human. Human is still a very
Yeah.
important element of that equation.
Yeah, so liberal arts subjects, right, gives you a very broad perspective. Yeah, and it is actually very complementary to technology.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Thank you so much, Peter. I think
You're
we
most
have
welcome.
no more question. But if let's say you have any question, you have Peter's email here. Please
Yep.
drop me email or even join his Facebook group. I'm part of the Facebook group, and I really learn a lot from that group itself. There's so many things that we can learn from each other, and again, how we can move from now on is actually to move together. I always explain to a lot of my peers that we can't move alone. It's so lonely doing this alone. And it's fun that we have a community. That's why we support each other. So with that, I really want to thank you, Peter, for coming here to with your time as well to share with us your thoughts. And I also want to thank all of our participants who are here, not only here in Zoom, but also in the YouTube. Thank you so much for watching this event. So as I mentioned just now, we would like to have a photography session. So
Sure.
if we could, maybe all of us can turn on your video. I'm going to stop the live at YouTube. So